Okay, let me get a little specific about things in this scene. I think one of the problems I find is just on any level that I can work on to get myself to feel the belief in the physical action of the scene is going to help me an awful lot. And the doings you have here are fine, but it feels to me like part of this is a little bit. I'm talking with Angela here about. It seems like it's a good location, but what we want is for the actors to also feel like they inhabit the location in a way that helps them feel the truth of it. And it seems like in some ways, though it had some things that are visually good about it, other things feel like they don't really help your performers. So, I was a little rough on you guys, the actors, the other day, but I think also part of it is finding a real sense of the location that might help. That said, Joey, if you're coming to audit this person, it's like, what are you showing up with? Maybe you had more here, but I don't see anything. And when you come in, there it is. You've just got your props are weak. So, it's like having a briefcase, having things you can do, and figuring out, how to set them down, what to get out of there. You could have been doing a number of pieces of action during this rather than just holding on to your, rather than just holding on to the notebook that you have there. And certainly the other doings here are better, but it's the relationship between the two of you could be just a better sort of psychological setup for the location, right? For instance, if you had found a place where you had a table in the middle that Joey could be on one side of and she could be facing, or he could move around her, or there could be some sort of sense of a psychological dynamic to the space that might have helped you a bit there as well.
Sure. This way.
And I think, though this is all kind of two scenes that are actually one scene, the moment, trying to figure out for Angela and for you actors, again, what are these moments of decision? And I think we get the moment that she says, okay, I'll do it. But the question is, why, what happens in this scene? Is there anything that, a connection between them of any kind, even if it's irritation, or even if it's that he finally pulls rank, or he's finally, she feels somewhat threatened. I know those are kind of off the wall choices, but the scene feels like it's just a little bit flat in sort of the what's going on in here really between the two of them. And by the way, you notice that I'm not making comments on the editing. The editing itself is okay, but that's a little bit like saying it doesn't matter too much where we cut in it, because there's nothing happening that's that specifically different or driving the dramatic action along in a visual way. And as I said, I like this shot. Could have been a little smoother there.
What's this?
But, the idea, again, Joey, of rather than just being there reacting in a kind of presentational way, what do you have to do to get ready to work on these taxes? What else have you brought with you? How, do you have a calculator? Do you have, there's just a whole lot of things that you guys could have been doing to set up, what is he going to have to do to get ready for this?
My files?
What?
My tax files?
In this box?
I'm sorry, I wasn't informed they had to be presented in an organized fashion.
You keep your tax files like this?
No, I'm actually very fastidious in my filing. I put them in this box just to fuck with you.
and always, Angela and actors, this question of what is the final moment of our scene is important. And I think in some ways if we're looking at, maybe one of the ways to think about this scene is, if it's in two halves, does he win the first beat and does she win the war, or the second beat, you know? And I think that's not a bad way to look at it. So, you know, he might be able to use his power in the first part and think he's got it nailed down, and then she pulls this one on the second part, which would mean that maybe in the skirmishes that they're having here, it's important to see the person who wins. So, you know, I don't know if you have a close-up of her at the end, but it might be nice to have that for it.